A miniature Earth must one day flourish inside a metal can drifting through the blackness of space. This is the monumental challenge of creating self-sustaining ecosystems within space habitats, a science that holds the key to our future among the stars. By the end of this exploration, you will understand the intricate biological and engineering marvels that could make permanent life off our planet a reality. We will uncover how waste becomes food and sterile walls transform into living worlds, but can a closed environment truly survive for generations without failing? What does it take to build a new world from scratch? How do you feel about humanity taking its first deliberate steps toward becoming an interplanetary species? The heart of a space habitat beats with a simple yet profound rhythm. Nothing leaves and nothing is wasted. This is the core principle of a closed-loop system, a concept that transforms a sterile capsule into a living world. Think of it as a miniature Earth encapsulated within walls of metal and glass. Our own planet has been the ultimate closed-loop system for billions of years, with water cycling from oceans to clouds to rain, and elements like carbon and nitrogen passing endlessly between the air, the land, and living things. To recreate this delicate dance on a tiny, human-made scale is the grand challenge. Scientists call this a closed ecological life support system, or CELSS, but the idea is beautifully straightforward. It is a web of life where every output becomes an input. The carbon dioxide you exhale is a precious gift for the plants. The water you drink will eventually return to you, purified and renewed. Even the waste from your body is not refuse, but a vital fertilizer that fuels the entire cycle. This is not just recycling, it is a constant, flowing transformation of matter and energy. The system is a partnership, a seamless blend of biology and engineering. Specially chosen microbes work unseen, breaking down complex materials. Plants do more than provide food. They are the habitat's lungs, converting carbon dioxide into fresh oxygen. Technology acts as the careful steward, monitoring the balance and intervening when necessary to scrub the air of trace toxins or reclaim every last drop of water. The true test of such a system is its resilience. A single imbalance, a toxin that builds up too quickly, or a nutrient that depletes too slowly, could unravel the entire delicate web. Getting this balance right was the first great hurdle, one that pioneering researchers began to tackle not in the void of space, but right here on Earth. The Arizona desert became the stage for one of the most daring ecological experiments ever conceived. Inside the sprawling glass and steel frame of Biosphere 2, 8 individuals sealed themselves for 2 years, attempting to live in a world built by human hands. This was not merely a habitat, it was a miniature planet under a dome, complete with a rainforest, an ocean, and a farm. The goal was audacious: to create a perfectly balanced, self-sustaining system. For a time it worked. The crew farmed their own food, breathed the oxygen produced by their plants, and recycled their water. But then, the system began to whisper its secrets, and not all of them were welcome. Oxygen levels began a slow, mysterious decline. The cause was traced to an unexpected interaction. The rich soil inside the sealed environment was absorbing oxygen at a faster rate than the plants could replenish it. This was a profound lesson that even the most carefully planned ecosystem holds hidden variables. Alongside these technical hurdles, the intense isolation also placed immense strain on the crew, highlighting that the human element is as critical as any biological process. Despite its challenges, Biosphere 2 was not a failure. It was a priceless library of data. It taught us that an artificial biosphere is not a machine to be controlled, but a living partner that must be understood. This iterative process of learning continued far above the Earth, aboard the International Space Station. Here, in the relentless microgravity of orbit, the concepts tested in the desert were refined. Systems like the advanced closed-loop system now demonstrate remarkable efficiency, scrubbing carbon dioxide from the cabin air and converting it into fresh oxygen for the crew to breathe. In another module, the veggie plant growth facility allows astronauts to cultivate and harvest fresh greens, a small but vital step toward biological food production. These are not standalone experiments, they are integrated components of a larger, living system. The station itself has become a testbed, proving that the core principles of a closed loop can function in the harsh reality of space. Each of these endeavors, from the grand ambition of Biosphere 2 to the precise engineering on the station, represents a crucial step in a much longer journey. They have moved the question from if we can build such systems to how we can make them thrive indefinitely. And the key to that thriving lies not in the hardware, but in the silent, green engines of life that will power these habitats from within. Within the habitat's controlled climate, plants become more than just a food source. They transform into vital life support partners. Selecting the right species is a careful balancing act, prioritizing those that are compact, fast-growing, and nutrient-dense. Think of a space garden not as a field, but as a highly efficient living machine. Dwarf varieties of wheat can produce grain in a fraction of the space required on Earth. Red romaine lettuce offers rapid growth and valuable vitamins. Potatoes provide dense carbohydrates and can be grown aeroponically, with their roots misted by a nutrient-rich fog, completely eliminating the need for heavy soil. These are not random choices. Each plant is selected for its ability to excel in a world of artificial suns and recycled water, contributing directly to the air and water cycles that keep the crew alive. But the value of these green companions extends far beyond their biochemical functions. After months surrounded by sterile metal and the profound blackness of space, the simple act of tending to a living plant, of seeing a new leaf unfurl under the gentle glow of LED lights, provides a profound psychological anchor. It is a tangible connection to Earth, a reminder of growth and normalcy that can help ease the mental strain of extreme isolation. This living connection is so powerful that astronauts on the International Space Station have often described their time caring for plants as a highlight of their mission, a small piece of home millions of miles away. To make these plants even more resilient partners, science is looking to refine their very blueprint. Researchers are exploring gentle genetic adjustments that could help crops better tolerate the unique stresses of space. This could mean enhancing their natural defenses against cosmic radiation, improving their efficiency at absorbing carbon dioxide, or allowing them to thrive under lower light levels. The goal is not to create alien flora, but to gently nudge Earth's own life to become even more hardy and productive in its new home. Cultivating this garden is a delicate art of constant balance. Every variable must be precisely managed, from the temperature and humidity of the air to the exact spectrum and duration of light, all tailored to coax the maximum yield from every single plant. It is a symphony of controlled conditions where even a minor fluctuation can impact growth. Yet, even the most carefully tended plants do not work alone. Their success relies entirely on an unseen, microscopic workforce that operates in the background, turning waste into wealth and completing the circle of life. While plants are the visible green heart of the habitat, their silent partners are an unseen army of microscopic workers. These bacteria and fungi are the tireless custodians and chemists of the closed world, performing feats of transformation that no machine could easily replicate. In specially designed bioreactors, specific strains of bacteria are set to work on the most fundamental of tasks, processing human and plant waste. They consume ammonia and complex organic matter, converting it into valuable nitrates and other compounds that plants can absorb as fertilizer. This is the ultimate form of recycling, where what was once considered refuse becomes the very nourishment that fuels new growth, perfectly closing the nutrient loop. Another key partnership unfolds beneath the surface, where mycorrhizal fungi weave a delicate network through the root zones of the plants. These fungi act as a vast, natural extension of the root system, dramatically increasing its ability to absorb water and vital nutrients like phosphorus. In an environment where every drop of water and every gram of nutrient must be accounted for, this symbiotic relationship is not just beneficial, it is a revolutionary form of resource efficiency. Beyond their direct duties, this diverse microbial community plays a crucial role in maintaining the habitat's overall health. By occupying ecological niches, these beneficial microbes can naturally outcompete potential pathogens, helping to create a stable and resilient living environment for the human crew. Scientists are now actively designing these microscopic societies, engineering specific microbial communities, or microbiomes, tailored for the unique demands of a space habitat. The goal is to create a robust, self-regulating microscopic world that can function reliably for years, even decades, forming the invisible bedrock upon which all other life depends. This intricate dance of decay and renewal ensures that nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. But these biological cycles require a stable stage upon which to perform, a carefully managed atmosphere where every breath is a vital transaction in the habitat's economy. Every single breath inside a sealed habitat is a transaction in a closed economy of air. The green engines of photosynthesis provide a steady flow of oxygen during the habitat's day cycle. But when the lights go out, the plants become net consumers, breathing in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide just like the human crew. This fundamental rhythm means the system can never rely on biology alone. Sophisticated machinery must step in as a silent partner to maintain the balance. Chemical scrubbers, often using materials like lithium hydroxide, act as molecular sponges, actively pulling carbon dioxide from the cabin air. On the International Space Station, the oxygen generation system takes this a step further, using the simple, powerful process of electrolysis to split water molecules into breathable oxygen for the crew and hydrogen, which is either safely vented or used in other chemical processes. The margin for error is incredibly slim. An atmosphere is not a static thing. It is a dynamic and delicate mixture that must be constantly watched. An array of precise sensors acts as the habitat's nervous system, sampling the air every second to ensure oxygen levels stay securely between 19.5 and 23.5%. If carbon dioxide concentrations creep above 0.7%, crew members can begin to experience headaches, fatigue, and impaired judgment, a dangerous situation when every task is critical. This constant, vigilant management of the air we take for granted is one of the most active and vital engineering challenges, a non-negotiable prerequisite for life. With the atmosphere carefully held in balance, the next great challenge lies in managing the flow of life's most vital liquid resource. The same water you drink today may have once condensed from the air you breathed yesterday. In the sealed world of a space habitat, every drop of water is a treasure, endlessly cycled through a complex hydrological loop that leaves no molecule behind. This begins with the most fundamental of human activities, breathing. The moisture in every exhale is captured by dehumidifiers, carefully reclaimed from the cabin air. Even the sweat on an astronaut's brow during a strenuous workout is not lost, but gathered by the habitat's life support systems. The most advanced water recovery systems, like the one operating on the International Space Station, push this efficiency to its logical extreme, processing urine through a multi-stage purification that would astonish any earthly engineer. The process starts with a centrifugal system that mimics gravity to separate liquids from gases, followed by sophisticated filters that remove solid particles. Then, the water passes through a catalytic reactor that breaks down any remaining trace contaminants, ultimately producing water so pure that minerals must be added back in to make it safe and palatable to drink. This technological marvel achieves a recovery rate of over 90%, a staggering figure that transforms the very idea of waste. The implications of this reach far beyond the hull of a spacecraft. The very same purification technologies developed for space are now being adapted to provide clean drinking water in arid regions and disaster zones here on Earth, turning a challenge of exploration into a tool for global resilience. For missions to Mars, where a resupply from Earth is impossible, this near-total water independence is not just an advantage, it is an absolute necessity for survival. Looking forward, scientists are exploring how to integrate biology directly into this cycle. Plants naturally release pure water vapor through their leaves in a process called transpiration. In future habitats, this gentle, passive exhalation could be collected on cooled surfaces, providing a beautifully simple, energy-efficient method of purification. Yet, trust in this recycled water is paramount. A constant, vigilant testing regime is in place, monitoring for any microbial or chemical contaminants to ensure every sip is as safe as if it came from a pristine mountain spring. With the cycles of air and water secured through a blend of technology and biology, the final, and perhaps most human, pillar of survival remains a reliable and nourishing source of food. A complete diet is the final link in the chain of survival, the point where the habitat truly becomes a world that can feed its people. This goal, known as nutritional closure, means every vitamin, mineral, protein, and calorie must be produced within the habitat's own walls, sustaining a crew not for months, but for years or even generations. It is a challenge that moves far beyond supplementing packaged meals with fresh greens. The solution lies in cultivating a diverse agricultural portfolio. Staple crops like dwarf wheat and potatoes provide essential carbohydrates, while soybeans and quinoa offer complete proteins and a rich array of amino acids. But scientists are also looking to more unconventional sources to fill nutritional gaps. Spirulina algae, for instance, is a powerhouse of protein and essential fatty acids, and it can be grown efficiently in compact bioreactors. To add crucial variety and texture, some designs even incorporate small aquaculture systems for tilapia fish or contained habitats for edible insects like crickets, which are remarkably efficient at converting plant matter into high-quality protein. Yet the science of a space diet is only half the battle. The psychology of eating is equally vital. Facing the same bland meal day after day leads to a phenomenon called menu fatigue, where astronauts simply eat less, risking malnutrition and a sharp decline in morale. Flavor and variety are not luxuries in this environment. They are critical components of crew health. This means food scientists must become culinary artists, engineering meals that are not only nutritious but also a genuine pleasure to eat, using herbs, spices, and fermentation techniques to create a rotating menu that feels familiar and satisfying. All of this requires a new kind of kitchen, one equipped for food processing, safe preservation, and even cooking in the strange embrace of microgravity, where a stray crumb or a floating droplet of oil could become a hazard. Every meal consumed is a testament to the habitat's ultimate success, a direct transfer of energy from its internal cycles to the people who call it home. And all of this intricate, life-sustaining work demands a constant, unwavering supply of power. The silent hum of life support and the gentle glow of grow lights all demand a constant, unwavering river of energy. Powering this closed loop is an energy-intensive endeavor, where every breath of processed air and every drop of recycled water draws from a central, vital source. For habitats in orbit or on the moon, the solution shines brilliantly in the sky. Vast arrays of highly efficient solar panels stretch like wings, capturing the sun's abundant and constant energy, transforming it into the electricity that fuels the habitat's beating heart. But as we venture farther from the sun's warm embrace to the dusty plains of Mars where sunlight is fainter, this solution becomes less practical. There, engineers are considering more advanced power sources like compact and incredibly durable nuclear reactors. These systems could generate the immense, reliable heat and electricity needed for decades, regardless of the dust storms swirling outside or the long Martian night. Yet, even the most powerful source is useless if its energy cannot be stored for when it is needed most. This is where advanced energy storage enters the equation. High-capacity batteries and regenerative fuel cells act as the habitat's energy savings account, charging up during periods of plenty and then releasing that stored power to sustain life support during the orbital night or moments of peak demand. The ultimate goal is absolute energy independence, a habitat that generates and manages all its own power without a single shipment of fuel from Earth. This drives an obsession with efficiency in every single component. Specially tuned LED grow lights deliver precise wavelengths of light that plants use most effectively for photosynthesis, wasting no energy on spectra they cannot absorb. Every pump, every fan, every computer is designed for maximum performance with minimum power draw, shrinking the total energy footprint of the entire artificial world. This careful management of energy is the invisible force that allows every other cycle to turn, and all of these intricate, interconnected systems require a physical home, a durable shell to protect this fragile bubble of life from the absolute hostility of the void outside. The physical shell of a space habitat is a living, breathing machine in its own right. Its architecture must seamlessly integrate complex biological cycles and advanced technology within a structure that can withstand the relentless vacuum outside. To solve the immense challenge of launching such a large volume into space, engineers have turned to innovative materials. Inflatable modules packed tightly into a rocket's payload fairing blossom into spacious living quarters once in orbit, offering a lightweight and voluminous solution. For more permanent settlements on the Moon or Mars, the very ground beneath our feet becomes the building block. 3D printing technologies can fuse local regolith, the layer of dust and broken rock, into dense, solid walls that provide a powerful and natural shield against cosmic and solar radiation. This is architecture born from the land itself. Inside this protective shell, the layout is meticulously planned like a miniature city. You would find distinct zones separated not just by walls but by function. Tranquil living quarters are deliberately isolated from the constant hum of the agricultural modules and the industrial processes of waste recycling. Yet, these zones are all connected by a hidden circulatory system, a network of pipes and ducts that act as artificial arteries and veins, ensuring the efficient flow of purified air, reclaimed water, and nutrient-rich solutions to every corner of the habitat. Even light is carefully architected. Banks of LEDs are programmed to slowly shift in color and intensity, mimicking the gentle progression of a sunrise to a bright midday and then into a warm, dim evening. This artificial day-night cycle is not a mere luxury. It is essential for maintaining the circadian rhythms of the human crew, preventing sleep disorders and supporting mental well-being, while also dictating the precise growth patterns of the plants in the agricultural base. Resilience is woven into the very blueprint of this world. Every critical life support system has a backup, and often a backup for the backup. If a single pump fails or a micrometeoroid punctures an outer wall, automated seals can isolate the damaged section while redundant systems immediately take over, ensuring the fragile atmosphere and the lives within remain secure. This physical framework is the skeleton upon which the entire ecosystem is built, a silent partner in the dance of survival. And overseeing this entire intricate dance is a silent, digital intelligence, a network of sophisticated computers that manage it all. This digital guardian operates as the habitat's central nervous system, a network of artificial intelligence and countless sensors woven into every module. It monitors thousands of data points simultaneously, from the subtle humidity in the agricultural bay to the precise oxygen consumption of each crew member. This constant stream of information allows the AI to move beyond simple monitoring and into the realm of prediction. It can analyze trends in water recycling efficiency to forecast a filter's end of life weeks in advance, or detect a slight shift in leaf coloration that signals a nutrient deficiency long before it impacts the harvest. The system does not just observe, it acts. In the plant growth modules, the AI becomes a master gardener, fine-tuning the spectrum of LED lights and adjusting the delivery of nutrient mists in real time to coax out the maximum yield from every plant. It manages the complex ballet of resource allocation, deciding when to send purified water to the living quarters or nutrient-rich solution to the farm, ensuring no part of the habitat is ever wanting. This profound level of automation liberates the human crew from the burden of constant manual adjustments. Instead of spending their days checking gauges and calibrating systems, the astronauts are free to focus on the tasks that truly require human creativity and problem-solving, from complex scientific experiments to the intricate maintenance of the very machines that sustain them. The AI's role extends to the crew's own well-being. By monitoring atmospheric quality and tracking individual health metrics, it can provide early warnings about potential issues, from a slight buildup of trace contaminants in the air to signs of elevated stress. It acts as an ever-vigilant partner, safeguarding both the biological and human elements of this closed world. The stability of this entire intricate dance, however, faces its ultimate test not from within, but from the profound and relentless isolation of space itself. The human body was never designed for life inside a metal can. Beyond the well-known effects of microgravity, which demand hours of daily exercise to combat bone loss and muscle wasting, the very air and water of a closed habitat present a more subtle physiological puzzle. Even with near-perfect recycling, the system can accumulate trace amounts of volatile organic compounds, off-gassed from equipment, plastics, and the inhabitants themselves. These microscopic contaminants are too dilute to smell, but over months or years, their cumulative impact on human health remains one of the most carefully studied unknowns. The psychological landscape is equally challenging. Imagine the sensory monotony, the same curved walls, the same artificial light, the same handful of faces day after day, with no wind on your skin or sun on your shoulders. This sensory deprivation, coupled with the profound isolation from Earth, can fray even the most resilient minds, leading to sleep disruptions, heightened stress, and tensions that simmer in close quarters. To counter this, habitat design is as much about human psychology as it is about engineering. Private quarters offer an essential sanctuary for solitude, while communal areas are designed to encourage the spontaneous interactions that build camaraderie. Perhaps the most ingenious defense against mental fatigue is the use of virtual reality, offering crew members a window not just to a screen, but to a sensory experience, a walk through a forest or a view of a bustling Earth city, providing a crucial cognitive reset. And always there are the plants, the living, breathing companions that offer a tangible connection to growth and a routine of care that grounds the spirit. This holistic approach to health is constantly monitored through wearable sensors that track sleep patterns, heart rate variability, and even vocal tone for signs of rising stress, allowing the habitat systems and the crew themselves to intervene early. The entire monumental effort of balancing air, water, and food culminates in this single goal, keeping the human element not just alive but truly well. Yet for all our planning, the ultimate test of any closed world is its ability to endure the unexpected, to face a crisis and not unravel. A single point of failure is a luxury a space habitat cannot afford. Every critical system is built with not just a backup, but often a backup for the backup. Imagine the intricate network that controls the atmosphere, the water you drink, and the lights that grow your food, each one mirrored by an identical, independent system waiting in silent reserve. This is the principle of redundancy woven into the habitat's very DNA. If a primary pump seizes or a carbon dioxide scrubber reaches its limit, sensors detect the anomaly in milliseconds, and a secondary unit seamlessly activates. The transition is so smooth that the crew might only notice a new alert on a control panel, their environment remaining perfectly stable. This philosophy extends beyond simple duplication to what engineers call graceful degradation. The habitat is designed to endure hardship, not just complete failure. Should a non-critical module, like a secondary food growth chamber, become compromised, it can be sealed off and isolated. The overall life support continues to function, perhaps at a slightly reduced capacity, but it continues, buying invaluable time for the crew to diagnose and repair the problem. This resilience transforms the habitat from a fragile bubble into a robust, living entity capable of weathering internal storms. But these systems, no matter how well designed, are only as strong as the people who operate them. The crew are the habitat's ultimate adaptive system, trained not merely as astronauts but as master technicians, botanists, and emergency responders. Their training is a continuous rehearsal for the unexpected, filled with simulations that feel terrifyingly real. They practice for sudden power blackouts, working by the dim glow of emergency lights to reroute energy from solar arrays to life support. They drill for a rapid decompression, scrambling to locate and seal a theoretical puncture in a matter of minutes. This constant, rigorous preparation builds a culture of ingrained readiness, where every crew member possesses an intimate understanding of the machinery that keeps them alive. They are the nervous system that complements the artificial intelligence, capable of creative problem solving that no computer can yet match. This deep partnership between human intuition and machine precision is what makes a multi-year mission conceivable. But before any crew ever sets foot inside, this entire intricate dance of technology and biology must be proven not in the void of space, but within the safety of laboratories here on Earth. The final proving ground for these miniature worlds is not in orbit, but here on Earth, in places that push human and machine to their absolute limits. Before a single seed is planted in a Martian greenhouse, entire mock-up habitats are built and tested in the most isolated and demanding environments our own planet can offer. These terrestrial analogs are the ultimate dress rehearsals for space. On the barren, volcanic slopes of Mauna Loa in Hawaii, the HISES habitat isolates crews for months at a time, It's rocky, Mars-like terrain forcing inhabitants to conduct field research only while wearing simulated spacesuits. At the Concordia Research Station in Antarctica, crews endure months of perpetual darkness and temperatures that plunge to -80 degrees Celsius, experiencing a level of isolation so profound it is used to study the psychological effects of a long-duration mission to Mars. Even the ocean floor serves as a testing ground. Underwater laboratories like Aquarius place aquanauts in a confined, saturated environment where the only way out is a slow, deliberate decompression, perfectly simulating the pressure differential and confinement of a space habitat. These analog missions are not just about endurance. They are living laboratories where every aspect of the habitat is put through its paces. Engineers monitor how life support systems perform over continuous, grueling months, identifying points of wear and potential failure long before they could become a crisis in space. Psychologists observe the subtle shifts in group dynamics, watching how small irritations can evolve in a confined space and what strategies truly help a team maintain its cohesion and morale. The most valuable data often comes from the unexpected failures, a water recycler that clogs with a new type of biological film, or a food growth system that falters under a specific light cycle. Each of these problems, discovered and solved on Earth, represents a potential catastrophe averted in space. The lessons learned are directly fed back into the design of flight-ready hardware, making each new iteration more robust, more reliable, and more deeply understood. This rigorous groundwork on our home planet builds the essential confidence needed for the real journey, allowing us to move from theory into a future where these self-sustaining worlds are no longer just experiments, but homes. These visionary habitats begin not with a blueprint, but with a new class of materials, to construct a world that spins to create its own gravity or one that shelters life under the thin sky of Mars. We need substances that are incredibly strong, remarkably light, and able to withstand cosmic radiation and extreme temperature swings for centuries. The answer may lie in carbon nanotubes, microscopic cylinders of carbon atoms arranged in a hexagonal pattern, possessing a strength-to-weight ratio hundreds of times greater than steel. Imagine weaving these nanotubes into the skeleton of an O'Neill cylinder, creating a framework so robust it could support the weight of entire landscapes spinning in the void. For Martian domes, a different kind of innovation is needed. 3D printing robots using microwaves or concentrated sunlight could fuse the iron-rich red dust of the Martian surface into a dense, ceramic-like building material, literally growing the walls of a habitat from the ground up. This approach, known as in situ resource utilization, transforms the very challenge of a distant location into its greatest asset, turning the cost and difficulty of shipping materials from Earth into a problem of the past. The interior of these domes could be lined with transparent aluminum, a ceramic alloy that offers the clarity of glass but with the impact resistance of advanced armor, allowing safe, panoramic views of the alien terrain outside. Even more radical concepts look to the asteroids themselves as Reed-made construction sites. These drifting mountains of rock and metal contain all the necessary ingredients for building and sustaining life, from water ice for fuel and air to nickel iron for structural beams. Robotic miners could carefully hollow out an asteroid, using its own bulk as a perfect natural shield against radiation. Inside, a cylindrical habitat could be spun, its interior surface terraformed into a living landscape, a fully self-contained worldlet drifting through the solar system. These are not just designs for shelters, but blueprints for new branches of human civilization. They represent the culmination of every closed-loop cycle and biological partnership we have explored, scaled to a level where humanity is no just a visitor in space, but a permanent resident. This grand leap from survival to a true society among the stars hinges on our ability to master one final, critical element: the human spirit itself. The walls around the astronauts could one day be alive. This is the frontier of regenerative and smart materials, where the boundary between a building and a biological system begins to blur. Instead of being inert and passive, the habitat's very structure would actively participate in its own upkeep and the health of the ecosystem. Scientists are developing materials infused with dormant, specially selected microbes. If a tiny crack forms in a water line, these embedded organisms could be activated by the exposure to moisture, secreting a mineral-based substance to seal the breach autonomously, much like how a fracture in a bone triggers the body's own healing response. This self-repairing capability would be transformative for long missions where a minor leak could become a major crisis over time. The habitat's surfaces would also work to keep themselves clean. Inspired by the lotus leaf, whose microscopic structure causes water to bead up and roll away, taking dirt with it, self-cleaning coatings could be applied throughout the interior. This would drastically reduce the crew's maintenance burden and help maintain a sterile environment for food production and crew health. Even the temperature could be managed by the walls themselves through the use of phase change materials. These substances, sealed within panels, absorb excess heat as they melt during the day and then release that stored warmth as they solidify during the cooler night cycle, providing a natural and energy-efficient form of climate control. The ultimate step in sustainability, however, is to not bring the building materials from Earth at all. The dusty gray soil of the Moon, known as regolith, can be processed and fused using concentrated sunlight or microwaves into sturdy, ceramic-like blocks. On Mars, the rust-colored soil is rich in iron oxide, and advanced 3D printers could use it to construct radiation-shielding walls, while automated systems extract vital water ice locked just beneath the surface. This practice of using in situ resources turns the alien landscape itself into a construction yard, breaking our final logistical tether to Earth. Creating these advanced materials requires a profound collaboration, merging the logic of engineering with the principles of biology and the innovation of chemistry. They are not just substances, they are integrated, responsive systems. These regenerative and smart materials will form the living, breathing skin of future habitats designed to endure for decades. But this raises a profound question that moves beyond engineering. How do we design a world that can not only sustain the first crew, but also nurture their children and their children's children, evolving into a true society among the stars? A mature forest does not need a gardener to thrive. It endures because its immense diversity creates a resilient, self-correcting network, and that is precisely the evolutionary milestone a space habitat must reach. For a closed world to survive for a century, it cannot be a static collection of parts. It must become a living entity capable of its own slow, deliberate evolution, a process ecologists call succession. This means cultivating a deep, complex community of life where thousands of species of plants, microbes, and even small animals find a balance with one another. In such a system, a sudden mold outbreak on a tomato plant would not be a catastrophe requiring chemical intervention. Instead, a naturally occurring, beneficial fungus might already be present to combat the invader, or a tiny predatory mite would arrive to consume the pest spreading the blight. Engineers are actively exploring how to introduce these miniature guardians, considering species of ladybugs to control aphids or certain wasps to manage other insect populations, creating a natural line of defense that operates entirely without human command. The system's stability must also be flexible enough to accommodate its human inhabitants as they change over time. The dietary needs and preferences of a second-generation crew, born under the dome's artificial sun, will likely differ from those of the original settlers. The ecosystem must be robust enough to handle these shifts in consumption and the subtle changes in waste composition they produce, recalibrating its nutrient cycles without falling into a fatal imbalance. This demands a profound shift in perspective, from engineering a machine to cultivating a wilderness. It requires a deep understanding of population dynamics, ensuring no single species grows too dominant and collapses, and a vigilant stewardship of genetic diversity to protect the community from disease. The ultimate test is not just building a world that can survive, but one that can learn to thrive on its own. Once this deep stability is secured, the habitat is no longer just a refuge. It becomes a seed ready to be planted elsewhere. The ultimate goal is not a single module, but a civilization. Scaling a self-contained ecosystem from a compact laboratory into a sprawling, city-sized habitat is the true test of our understanding. It requires shifting from managing a single, unified loop to orchestrating a symphony of interconnected cycles. Imagine the atmosphere itself becoming a regional force. A vast agricultural dome would exhale massive amounts of moisture and oxygen, creating its own localized weather patterns that could influence neighboring residential sectors. Managing these colossal hydrological and atmospheric flows would demand a new level of environmental engineering, preventing humidity from condensing in the wrong places or ensuring that a contaminant released in an industrial hub does not drift into the living quarters. To manage this complexity, future colonies will likely evolve into a network of specialized modules, each a master of its own domain. One dome could be a dedicated agricultural biome, a perpetual summer of optimized growth. Another might house advanced manufacturing and recycling facilities, while a third serves as a tranquil residential sector with parks, homes, and community spaces. These zones would be linked by efficient transit systems, exchanging air, water, nutrients, and people in a carefully balanced metabolic flow. This physical expansion inevitably gives rise to profound sociological questions. How does a community of thousands, completely isolated from Earth and dependent on a shared, fragile life support system, govern itself? The management of resources transitions from a technical problem to a core function of society, requiring transparent and equitable systems to ensure that every individual has access to clean air, water, and food. Maintaining psychological health over generations in a world without natural seasons or an open horizon becomes a cultural challenge. How will traditions evolve? What new arts and forms of expression will emerge under an artificial sky? The foundational science of closed-loop systems provides the biological and technical blueprint, but it cannot answer these human questions. They must be discovered through the act of living itself. This brings us to our final, and perhaps most important, consideration: the ethical responsibility that comes with building a new world from scratch. Building a new world is an act of profound responsibility, not just engineering. Every decision carries an ethical weight, forcing us to confront our role as creators of life in a sterile void. The history of our own planet is scarred by ecological imperialism, where the introduction of new species to unfamiliar lands led to catastrophic imbalances and the loss of native life. We cannot afford to repeat these mistakes on an interplanetary scale. The very act of sending a sealed habitat to Mars risks a breach, a single Earth microbe escaping into the Martian soil. Such an event could forever contaminate a pristine environment, potentially destroying any fragile, native Martian life forms we have yet to discover, or making it impossible to distinguish what was truly native from what we brought with us. This forces a difficult question: do we have the right to alter another world before we truly understand it? The debate around terraforming Mars is a perfect example of this ethical dilemma. Is it our destiny to turn that red, cold desert into a second Earth, or do we have a duty to preserve it as a unique world, a natural museum of the solar system for all future generations to study in its untouched state? This is not a decision for scientists or corporations alone, but one that requires a global conversation about our values and our place in the cosmos. Inside the habitat, the ethical questions become deeply personal. The crew and their descendants will live in a world where every breath and every sip of water is managed by a system they did not build and may not fully control. Ensuring their autonomy and a high quality of life is paramount. They must have access to the same fundamental freedoms and resources we enjoy on Earth, from privacy and self-determination to diverse food and cultural expression. Their society cannot be one of mere survival, but one where human flourishing is the central goal. This extends to the other life we bring with us, the bacteria, plants, and perhaps even insects or fish within the habitat are not just biological machines, they are living beings integrated into a shared existence. What are our responsibilities to them? As we design these miniature worlds, we must proceed with humility and a deep reverence for the intricate web of life we are attempting to weave. The ultimate lesson of this entire endeavor may not be about how to leave Earth, but about how to better care for the magnificent, self-sustaining biosphere we already call home. The same technology that purifies water for astronauts is now quenching thirst in communities here on Earth. The relentless pursuit of efficiency for space has birthed a cascade of innovations with profound implications for our own planet's sustainability challenges. Consider the advanced water reclamation systems born from the need to recycle every possible drop on a spacecraft. These are not just laboratory curiosities. Compact, solar-powered versions of these systems are being deployed in arid regions and in the aftermath of natural disasters, where they can transform contaminated water or even brackish sources into safe, clean drinking water for thousands of people. This is a direct transfer of survival technology from the void of space to the most pressing needs on the ground. The approach to growing food is undergoing a similar transformation. The science of controlled environment agriculture, perfected for space habitats, is revolutionizing how we produce food in our cities. Multi-level vertical farms, stacked high inside repurposed warehouses, use precisely tuned LED lighting and nutrient-dense misting systems to grow vast quantities of leafy greens and herbs with a mere fraction of the water required by traditional farming. These urban oases eliminate the need for long-distance transportation, drastically cutting carbon emissions, and they can operate year-round, independent of weather or poor soil quality, bringing fresh produce directly to the heart of densely populated areas. But perhaps the most valuable export from space science is not a specific technology, but a mindset. The holistic, systems thinking required to balance a closed-loop habitat is a powerful model for redesigning our cities and industries. It forces us to see waste not as an endpoint, but as the starting point for something new. This philosophy is the bedrock of the circular economy, where the goal is to eliminate the very concept of waste by designing products and processes so that everything is repurposed, reused, or reintegrated back into the system. Just as a space habitat views carbon dioxide as a resource for plants and wastewater as a source of hydration, we can begin to see industrial byproducts as raw materials and discarded plastics as a potential resource. By learning to live within our means in the most extreme environment imaginable, we are developing the tools and the perspective to become better stewards of our own magnificent but finite planet. This creates a beautiful, symbiotic feedback loop where the challenges of space propel innovation that heals the Earth, and the lessons from Earth's own complex biosphere continue to inform the design of our celestial arcs. This ongoing dialogue between two worlds is actively shaping the next generation of missions, turning ambitious blueprints into tangible projects that are already taking shape. Blueprints are becoming steel and glass in real time. This is no longer a distant vision, but a global endeavor unfolding in laboratories and launch centers around the world. At the forefront is NASA's Artemis program, which is methodically building the stepping stones for a permanent lunar outpost. The Moon is the ultimate testbed, a harsh environment where technologies for water extraction from ice and advanced life support can be perfected just a short journey from Earth. Success on the lunar surface directly paves the way for the much more ambitious goal of sending humans to Mars, proving that we can live off the land in a place where a resupply mission is nothing but a memory. Parallel to this, the European Space Agency's ME-LISSA project has been a masterclass in long-term, systematic research. For decades, this initiative has treated a closed ecosystem not as a single machine, but as a collection of interconnected biological compartments. Imagine a series of linked chambers, each with a dedicated purpose, one breaking down waste with microbes, another growing algae for oxygen and nutrition, and a final compartment producing edible plants for a crew. This modular approach has already yielded groundbreaking advances in understanding how to achieve a stable, long-term balance, providing a wealth of data that benefits every other project in the field. The momentum is no longer confined to government agencies. Private companies are now actively designing commercial space stations and lunar habitats, bringing a new drive for efficiency and innovation. These ventures are creating a competitive marketplace for the very systems that will sustain human life in orbit and beyond, accelerating development and pushing the boundaries of what is commercially viable. This collective effort, spanning continents and sectors, underscores a powerful truth. Collaboration is the engine of this new frontier. The shared data, the common challenges, and the unified goal are weaving a tapestry of knowledge that no single nation or company could create alone. Every experiment, every simulation, and every prototype brings us one step closer to a future where the hum of a self-sustaining ecosystem is the familiar sound of home, whether on the Moon, Mars, or a station sailing through the deep. The silent laboratory of the International Space Station speaks with a chorus of accents. This orbiting outpost, a partnership between the space agencies of the United States, Russia, Europe, Japan, and Canada, is a powerful testament to what humanity can achieve when it unites around a common goal. By sharing the immense financial burden and intellectual capital, these partners have created a unique platform where breakthroughs in life support and recycling are not held as national secrets, but are shared openly for the benefit of all. This collaborative model accelerates progress in a profound way, preventing costly duplication of effort and ensuring that a discovery made in a European lab can immediately inform an engineering solution being developed in Japan. This cooperation does more than just speed up innovation. It builds a foundation of trust and common understanding. The very pipes, filters, and data ports that keep the station alive are built to interoperable standards, a practice that ensures a module from one nation can seamlessly dock with and sustain a module from another. This established framework of shared protocols is the invisible blueprint for the future, setting the stage for the much larger lunar and Martian habitats that will require contributions from across the globe. Such a monumental undertaking to build a new world from scratch is simply too vast for any single nation to bear alone. The combined expertise, resources, and diverse perspectives of our entire species are the essential ingredients for success. And this grand, collective endeavor is already being handed off. its complex challenges inspiring the next generation of scientists, engineers, and dreamers who will one day walk through the airlocks they are now learning to design. That dream of a life among the stars holds a unique power to capture a young mind. It transforms complex equations and engineering schematics into a tangible, thrilling future, making it one of our most potent tools for inspiring the next generation. Educational programs are bringing this future into classrooms today, allowing students to design their own digital space habitats or even analyze real environmental data beamed down from the International Space Station. These are not just abstract lessons, they are invitations to participate in the grand project itself. A child who tweaks the atmospheric mix in a virtual dome or monitors the growth of a plant experiment linked to orbit is not just learning, they are practicing for a career that is still being invented. Museums and science centers amplify this experience with hands-on exhibits where you can touch a piece of a spacecraft, step into a mock-up of a living quarters module, or see with your own eyes how a water recycling system works. Online, the barrier to entry vanishes completely. Social media platforms and live streams bring the faces and voices of astronauts directly into homes, demystifying the science and showcasing the very human stories of discovery and perseverance behind it. This multifaceted approach does more than just educate. It actively cultivates a diverse and passionate workforce. By making the path to these careers visible and accessible to everyone, regardless of their background, we ensure that the pool of talent ready to tackle tomorrow's challenges is as vast and varied as humanity itself. The children who are today designing those virtual habitats and watching those live launches will be the very engineers, biologists, and pioneers who will one day build, maintain, and inhabit the real ecosystems floating between worlds. Their spark of curiosity is the most vital fuel for our long-term future. Of course, with a vision this grand, it is only natural to have some pressing questions. A lush, park-filled habitat in a science fiction film is a beautiful dream, but it is a far cry from the intricate, working machine that must function in reality. These fictional worlds are often portrayed as effortlessly stable, when in fact their real-world counterparts demand unending vigilance. The most seductive of these myths is the idea of terraforming. The concept of turning Mars into a second Earth with a wave of a technological wand is a powerful narrative, but the actual process would be a geological undertaking spanning thousands of years. The planet's thin atmosphere, lack of a protective magnetic field, and frozen soil present obstacles that cannot be quickly overcome. It is a project not for a single generation, but for hundreds of them, a sobering reminder of the true scale of planetary engineering. Even on a smaller scale, inside a single habitat, the idea of a perfectly balanced ecosystem from day one is another common oversimplification. A closed ecological system is not a static sculpture. It is a living, breathing, and constantly evolving entity. It is more like a young forest than a finished garden, requiring constant observation and gentle nudges to guide its growth. The crew are not just residents, they are active participants in a grand biological experiment, learning the unique personality of their artificial world and adapting alongside it. This dynamic nature means that a problem solved today may reappear in a new form tomorrow, as the microbial communities shift and the plants respond to subtle changes in their environment. And what about the food? The stereotype of bland, paste-like meals from a tube has been obsolete for decades. Food scientists now work as culinary artists, understanding that flavor and variety are not luxuries but critical components of mental and physical health. Astronauts today enjoy a rotating menu that includes everything from spicy Mexican shrimp to Russian borscht, with fresh herbs and even occasional fruits grown in their own orbital gardens. The intense focus on creating enjoyable, culturally relevant meals helps combat menu fatigue and provides a crucial psychological comfort, a familiar taste of home in the most unfamiliar of settings. By setting aside these science fiction fantasies, we can fully appreciate the genuine, hard-won marvels of this science. The reality is more complex, more challenging, and ultimately far more impressive than the fiction. Grounded in this clearer understanding, we can now turn our eyes to the tangible projects and partnerships that are actively forging this future today. Mastering these self-sustaining worlds unlocks a future where humanity is no longer a single-planet species. This grand vision imagines a solar system dotted with human communities, each a unique expression of life adapted to its environment. Vast rotating cylinders could orbit as artificial worlds, their inner surfaces holding rivers, forests, and towns under a contained sky. On Mars, sprawling cities would flourish beneath transparent domes, their inhabitants tending crops in red soil while protected from the thin, cold air outside. Even the ice-covered oceans of moons like Europa might host research outposts, their lights glowing in the perpetual darkness beneath the ice. These are not just isolated bases, but the seeds of new branches of human civilization. Over generations, each community would inevitably develop its own distinct identity, shaped by its unique challenges and resources. A culture born in the controlled spin of an orbital habitat would have a different relationship with nature and space than one forged on the dusty plains of Mars. Yet they would not be alone. A vast interplanetary network would link them all, a web of communication and transport ensuring the steady flow of information, trade, and cultural exchange between worlds. This expansion is fundamentally an act of preservation and diversification. By establishing a presence beyond our home planet, we create a cosmic insurance policy for the human species and the biosphere we carry with us. It ensures that a catastrophe on one world does not mean the end of human consciousness and achievement. The profound science of closed-loop ecosystems is the essential, humble first step toward this incredible future, transforming the dream of a multi-planetary society from science fiction into an achievable, generational goal. We have journeyed through the intricate dance of air, water, and life, seeing how a sterile shell is transformed into a living world. This entire endeavor represents a breathtaking synthesis, a fusion of biology, engineering, and profound human ingenuity, all aimed at a single, monumental goal: making life sustainable beyond the cradle of Earth. We have explored the core principle of the closed loop, where nothing is wasted and every output fuels a new beginning. We have witnessed the silent, vital partnership between green plants and microscopic organisms, the constant, vigilant management of the very air we breathe, and the endless cycling of water that turns survival into permanence. These are not isolated technical challenges, they are interconnected threads in a single tapestry of survival. The ultimate lesson this science imparts stretches far beyond the hull of a spacecraft. In learning how to build a new world from scratch, we are given a priceless mirror to better understand our own. The delicate balance we must engineer so carefully in a habitat is the same balance that has sustained life on Earth for billions of years. This pursuit forces us to see our planet not as a warehouse of infinite resources, but as a magnificent, self-sustaining spaceship sailing through the cosmos, a system we must learn to cherish and maintain. The visionary Carl Sagan once reflected that the sky calls to us, and that if we do not destroy ourselves, we will one day venture to the stars. The work we have explored today is the direct and deliberate answer to that call. It is the laying of a foundation, stone by stone, for a future where humanity's horizon is no longer limited by a single world, but extends as far as our collective imagination can reach. I would love to hear which part of this incredible science captured your imagination the most. Was it the silent work of the microbes, the challenge of balancing the atmosphere, or the grand vision of city-sized habitats? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this journey into our future enlightening, please subscribe for more explorations of the technology that is reshaping our world and our place in the cosmos.